I'm Chris Thomas, and this is Master Class. So this technique right here, there's a couple of variations on how we can use it. And let's take care of a single, so here would be against one person kind of variation. If somebody throws a big old punch at you, this is something you might do. So when we look at what we call the sort of standard responses, the standard flinch positions, there are three. 1, 2, 3, right? And everything builds off of that. So this kind of position, well, look, that's down counter. Oh, look, that's shuto. Okay. If I do this, well, that's double hand counter. If I do this, so look at this position. That's really like rising counter, middle counter, some versions of morote. So hidden within all the basic techniques, that first piece that we might call the getting ready position, it's not really, it's where most of the work is done, but that first piece, that's actually a natural flinch response. That's one of these kinds of positions that people just automatically go to. So he fires that punch. This is an automatic thing to do. I obstruct the punch, but look where that gives me. Bam. Okay. Now, depending on angles, he's stepping. Right? Do you see this step he does? So this is, I don't know why martial artists always step when they throw those big hook punches, but you don't usually see that in, videos of bar fights. People usually keep the other leg forward. But if this is what's happening, then this tends to give me an angle that I'm going to maybe go after stomach 6, or see, there's gallbladder 20. If I'm going to go after gallbladder 20, I think I'd like to use not what the kata shows, which is horse stance, but maybe a wood stance. So he comes in and I go, whoa, here, bang. See, gallbladder 20. But now let's assume for just a second that what's happened is the guy has grabbed me. And he's still throwing that kind of big old round punch to my face. See what I did here? I moved this way. I'm moving way off the line. This gives me control of his leg here. What I'm getting, this is large intestine 18. This is one of those, this is how you bring sound into the equation, okay? So he grabs, I go, I move offline. He's turning away. He sees this coming. He doesn't want this at all. And I'm going to hit him. So I'm hitting him right on the side of the neck, that large intestine 18, that's a metal point. I'm in an earth stance, but earth creates metal, so if I use the metal sound. So I'm just making that sound, that's the metal sound. It allows me to take advantage of the earth energy and transmute it into metal so that I can access that metal point very easily. Now, what happens if we add direction? So the directional sound is A. A is out. So he comes in. There's a principle that happens when there's contact, is that energy starts to connect through. So I just want to kind of show you how this works. First, I'm going to grab fingers first. We're going to start here. So here I am applying a joint lock. And now, touch me, both of you. Just touch. See how, now let go. See what happens? So when they touched, there was a connection. And that connection actually made them stronger. And then when they let go, that connection was gone and they became weaker. If you hit somebody on two sides of the head, it's really painful. But if two people touch you and you hit each of them, the effect is exaggerated as if you were hitting each of them on each side of their heads. So you notice that when I did this, the guy on the right side, so Chris goes down hard and fast. Dean gets hit, reacts, turns away. But then I have to chase after him and punch him. And that's really, the kata actually goes 1, 2, 3. The kata actually has anticipated these exact outcomes. So now as I'm going to hit them without any contact. I'm just going to smack them. So see, it worked, but not as big a result. So now we're going to just follow into the next piece of this. They touch. So that's the follow-up technique. So you notice how I kept it super light on the first piece, and I just went in with the follow-up technique. Let's do this off of a same-side wrist grab, or even a double-handed wrist grab this way. Look, see this position here? This cleared my arm, but look where he is. See that? Oh, yeah, look, that's bang. I get to knock him down here and then step over and strike, and that's a shot into the kidney. So again, in slow-mo, this getting ready to do down counter, but I turn this hand like this. This clears this hand completely, gives me access to the back of his arm. I'm shooting, I want to hit that triple warmer point, but to do that, this is what's really critical, is you have to turn this hand that far, because I want the point up. If I only turn the hand this far and I go and do this, I don't have the point. I can't, it won't work. I have to turn this far and reach over. Now I got it. And then it gives me here. See, this is gallbladder. Triple warmer sets up gallbladder. It's gallbladder 25. This is my access to his kidney is through gallbladder 25, which is the front associated point. So by tapping here and then here, you get this access into the kidney. So opponent's holding on, grabbing. Now, it's going to be hard for us to show you the angles properly, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something unusual. I'm actually going to cut across the line. So normally I would go outside line, but sometimes you can't. This would be especially if he's kind of giving me this push motion, and this is the thread I have, but there's that leg right there. So if I kick this leg, you see? So the motion of the kata is boom, that's the kick. Then I set it down here, boom, that's the strike with the gallbladder. Now, you notice that in the kata it comes all the way down to here, but in the application, when I kick him, his head's about here, boom. What does that mean? Oh, the kata's wrong? No, no, no. It means that once I get this set up, there, see where his head is? Now, in the kata I'm supposed to bring my hand down to here, so I tap all the way down to there. See, that's what we call the through energy. And if I just tap, so usually I just tap just enough to get the reaction, but the through energy, you saw the big difference that created. The movement is, we call it windshield wiper, and it goes like this here. So let's talk about windshield wiper. The rule of windshield wiper is, it's, see that action? Sometimes if you're in a hurry, you just kind of slap down, but it's really, it's two things. This arm bangs inward, hooks, pulls back. This is a thing that I talk about and teach a lot. And in this case, it's done high on the arm. In this particular kata, it's intentionally done high on the arm because you're actually setting up the next action. A lot of times in a lot of times we do it right here. For many techniques, we do it right close to the body, and it's a smaller motion, but here, this way. And so this gives me great control. To accentuate the effect of smacking on large intestine, and to really, what I'm interested in is attacking large intestine 17, which is very hard to get. So you can't really get at it. I mean, it's the weird angle, and you have to, if you had a stick, boom, you could get right in there. But it's really hard to get large intestine 17. If someone takes this and punches it in there, they can get it, and basically the top of your lung is there, so you go into a coughing fit and stuff like that, which I know from experience. But what I want you to do is this manipulation here. See how this gives me triple warmer 17? Triple warmer sets up metal, so fire sets up metal. So then I'm going to take my hand this way, cup my palm, but I'm going to visualize energy here and see if I can't direct that energy. Even though I won't make physical contact with the point, I'm going to try to send energy into the point. So this is a very interesting technique for that reason. Okay, so I go one, there it was. And then you heard the sound, the downward directional sound that went along with the strike here. So we come over with this technique, bang, bang. Now we can also, if we skip this or if this doesn't work, the kata teaches to follow striking here. Okay, so you understand that you go, oh, I didn't get what I wanted, follow here. This also gives you a variant. So in the kata, basic kata performance, this hand has a kind of a scooping motion, but if instead you just tap this way, so I go here and tap, see that stomach 6. and then from stomach 6 into stomach 9 and 10. So you can interpret it this way. Arms at large intestine meridian, stomach 6, stomach 9 and 10. So the kata goes 1, so it's windshield wiper strike 2, 3. So there's a point called stomach 12, tray pen, which is located in the middle of the clavicle. It kind of hurts when you push on it. My teacher, Sensei Dillman, would teach a technique, and I was trying to figure out how it worked. It took me a long time to learn this. I had to really read into a lot of acupuncture books because he pressed really hard on pericardium 6, so he was really activating pericardium 6. And then he reached up and he got this great effect. And so I'm looking at this going, so if I do this, it works, but if I touch here, it's worse. Why is that happening? Because I can't figure out the relationship. I don't see 5-element, I don't see diurnal cycle. What's going on? Well, it turns out the answer is something lost in most modern acupuncture texts, and it's that stomach 12, the point stomach 12, is in some ways similar to the point spleen 6. All 3 of the arm yang meridians actually go through stomach 12. So old acupuncture charts would sometimes show those 3 arm yang meridians going into the stomach 12 point. So this becomes what we call rule of the special points. Stomach 12 is a point that we can attack uniquely as if it was any one of the meridians on the arm, provided that you're working those arm meridians. You don't just do it and go, hey, I've just activated triple warmer, but you can treat it, if you're on triple warmer, you can treat it as another point on that same meridian. So that means that pericardium is the yin to triple warmer's yang. So even though there's not a particular relationship, because of this unique point, this combination is really effective. So again, if I just push, I get that. If I press here, then it becomes that. Now this is done, this motion is done in a cat stance. So now cat stance brings us to a whole other dynamic kind of issue, and that's that we're in a metal posture and we're attacking fire elements. So I need at that point to introduce the sounds. This is where the sort of water element sound begins to come into this. Not on the initial motion, but as I extend out, I need to kind of find myself moving towards sound. I lock up here. I'm going into a metal stance. So first, without doing the stance, good result. Now with the stance, choo. And so what I did was I added the sound element, the water element sound, which is choo, 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 tree. It has a kind of a sound similar to CH or to TR, like the word tree or chew. It's kind of that part of the mouth. So I used chew, and I emphasized also the ooh, the down element sound. So I was making a chew sound to try to create the effect I was after. If I wanted to take it a different way, one of the things I could do is I could start out making a fire sound, like K, K. And then I could add the down element sound, which is ooh, and I could end with the water sound, which is ch. So I can end with a consonantal that would be like ch at the end. So they would sound like cooch, cooch. So Q is kind of fire down, and then ch would be water. So we go cooch. So now you see that I've accessed through fire and then transitioned into water with direction in the middle. Credit where credit is due. This particular technique, a former colleague of mine, a guy named Mark Klein, came up with this, and you know, we always would share techniques with each other. You know, I'd come up with something and show it to somebody, and then they'd come up with something and show it back. And so we would try as much as we could remember to remember who it was who showed us something, and that's just part of how we were always that way. Sensei Dillman said, you know, give credit where credit is due. So this was a technique that was basically developed by Mark Klein. And you notice that when the hands go like this, that one hand is coming down, one hand is going up. And the point stomach 5 is a really important point because you can hit stomach 5 up or you can hit it down. So if I'm going to hit stomach 5 up, you know, maybe I come up this way and I get, you know, I get a nice reaction, or I can hit down and I get a nice reaction. But if you do one of each direction, so on one side of the head, I'm using this part of the inside of my arm and the tip of my thumb to hit up, and the other side, I'm using this part of my thumb right here to hit down this way. I'm going to skip any kind of stance work, and we're not going to throw this combatively. I just want you to see the basics of it. Dean is just here. He's being very cooperative. I just tap up and down. Okay? So now, out of this way, what happens is he's going to have this leg, his right leg forward in this case, just for ease of demonstration. My cat stance indicates here that I'm actually going to kick. So I'm going to capture a little bit of spleen 6 at the same time. And this might be coming off of this guy's grabbing me this way, you know, so we're locking in here, and I go, see, so it's just bang. Just knocking on the door. Yeah, because so it's actually, this hand actually hooks back and then down.
It feels really vulnerable.